Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Health meeting. We'll start this meeting at 10:03. Do we need the cameras, Kelly? We're okay. I want to start with an article I found from Psychology Today. I'll read it, the headline, but this is from a medical doctor. And it says, the psychological impact of negative news. Negative news can significantly affect our mental health. The local paper and media have been printing lies about the Board of Health, painting a very inaccurate and negative picture. This board has been open and transparent, and works hard to comply with a plethora of WACs and RCWs with the good help of our legal team. Unlike the newspaper, I've always tried to pursue truth. Cowlitz citizens deserve the truth and need unbiased information in order to make their own personal health decisions. Every story about the Board of Health has been negative and contained inaccuracies. Here's just a couple recent ones. I'm not going to get into all the errors, but I do want to clarify just one. This Board of Health has not rejected a single dollar of funding. The last HHS budget that was presented to this board was accepted as is. So if any money went unused, maybe they didn't need it. The money has never been rejected. No money has ever been rejected by this board. Besides, no amount of money can make a difference to our county health without honest discussions about the issues it may or may not resolve. Spending taxpayer money should be done sparingly and wisely. We welcome and want to hear input from the community where the Board of Health may be able to help. But in my 2 years here, the only request for money came just a couple months ago from the Student Garden Project. I believe that project is worthy of support, and it will be an item on our agenda soon. The media pushes the idea that the Board of Health has done nothing for the last 2 years, but the facts, deeds, and documents prove otherwise. I don't have time to review the list of accomplishments, but one was the medical freedom resolution passed and adopted by this board. The title, I'm paraphrasing, the citizen's right to personal choice regarding medical intervention. The media and even some candidates applying for board positions today are totally opposed to medical freedom. It's not political. To me, it's crucial to a free society, and that's why today's vote is very important. Today, we will be voting for a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners on 3 positions on the Board of Health. That's the only thing today on the agenda is the voting. The commissioners then will receive that recommendation and make their official appointments. After that, the next meeting at the end of September, I believe 24th, will be swearing in of the board members and hopefully continuing on moving Board of Health business. So with that, the clerk's office has printed up these ballots, and we will fill out our ballots in a minute, but I'll open it up for discussion now. Does any of the board members want to say something about the candidates? We interviewed 17, 13? 15 candidates in the past couple weeks. A few people have withdrawn their application, but I think we did a pretty good job of interviewing them. And so now if anybody would like to talk about it.
Hey, Kelly, this is Mary Jane Malink. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Mary Jane.
Oh, okay. I have a couple things. I am sorry about the background noise. I'm at an airport and we'll have to leave the meeting at about 11:45. But I wanted to pass on to you that I did vote against the Medical Freedom Act, not because I don't believe that people shouldn't make their own choices. I wholeheartedly believe that people make their own medical choices. My objection to the act was that it had nothing to do with improving the health of people in Cowlitz County. Nobody in Cowlitz County is forced to take a vaccine. And I think everybody understands that. And in fact, when we were interviewing applicants, you shared with everybody the CDC's recommendation that everybody get vaccinated from 6 months on. And you neglected to emphasize that those were simply recommendations. They were not mandates. Every time someone gets a vaccine, they have to sign a release. And so I just want to make sure that the people out there that you talk to believe and understand that I support wholeheartedly people's willingness and ability to make their own decisions. And it's disingenuous for you to suggest otherwise.
Actually, if I might say, it reminds me of a joke many, many, many years ago where somebody was commenting about when you're in the Army, they can't make you do anything, but they can sure make you regret that you haven't done that, such as those who lost their jobs, such as those who couldn't fly, etc.
Right. In fact, people were working, and if they didn't want to, like Mr. Mortensen said, they were fired. That's not medical freedom.
They had to quit.
Why don't you come up to the mic?
Does anybody else have a board member have any more comments? I think Rick Dahl is also online listening. If you
Other people that are on it have to get off.
What's she
There's
saying?
people on the airplane and they have to get off.
I'm not sure what that is.
Hey, Kelly, one last thing. I'm not there physically, so I don't have a ballot to fill out. So I am not certain how I move forward. I had chatted with the attorney and and Kelly Dombrowski about this, and so I guess I can just vote by voice.
Sure, that's fine. I think Rick is going to be doing the same. So if there's no further comments from the board, I'll open it up for public comment.
Okay. Thank you. I passed out to you guys, to the clerk, a study that they're tracking now. This is from yesterday from JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association. They talks about how they are tracking the myocarditis injuries to children over the long period of time, seeing how bad those cases actually are in mass. And it's bad. Some of them are getting better. There was one study that estimated 14,000 kids died from that vaccine, and there was no informed consent. And I myself was coerced to quit. I worked at Emmanuel Hospital, and I decided after 32 years, I was getting fed up with the phony masking because it really doesn't work. It's actually no science for it. I'm just tired of people even trying to justify it. And the amount of misinformation that was out there, we now know that Facebook and other social media were pressured by the government because Mark Zuckerberg just wrote a letter to the Judiciary Committee of Congress saying he was forced to censor COVID information. And we're talking about experts that had years and years of expertise in immunology and infectious disease, and they were not allowed to speak. And we're talking about people that actually had vaccine injuries that were not allowed to tell their story. And here is one of my favorite graphic. This is all the different things that the FDA and the other bureaucracies said was fine. And we're talking about DDT, asbestos, you name it. And they had to pull back. And some of those, they even knew when they proved them that they were bad, like lead paint and asbestos. There was absolutely no informed consent because there were never any studies done on the efficacy or the ability to transmit. That was proven at the European court when Pfizer admitted they never even tested whether or not it stops infection. So there we go. We need to have a medical freedom resolution because we are bridging on fascism at this point when you have your government censoring true medical information from experts. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. You remind me of an article that I had from a while ago that is correct. And it says that the CDC drafted an alert for myocarditis and the vaccines, but it never sent it out. So yeah, I think there was a reason for it. Any further comments? Oh, we're gonna have a record short meeting. Okay, well, let's, the paper ballots for the 1, 2, 3, 4 of us that are here, please fill it in and take a minute. And in the meantime, Kelly, I'll let you take a note for Commissioner Dahl. Would you like to voice your vote? Are you there, Rick? Okay, we'll come back. How about Mary Jane? Would you like to voice your vote for, the first one would be other community stakeholders?
I would like to support Diane Cooper for the, oh, no, others, excuse me, I'm sorry. LAPIC. I would like to support LAPIC for the other community stakeholder.
Okay, Kelly, you got that one? And
Margaret,
then,
yeah, Margaret LAPIC.
and then how about for public health, healthcare facilities or providers?
Karen Joyner. I think Karen proved that with her experience, both being a licensed nurse practitioner and being the head of the nursing program at LCC, that gives her a really wide, vast, broad experience. And I think she would be an asset to the organization.
And the last is the consumers.
I'd like to support Diane Cooper. And again, Diane has for years worked as an advocate, a fierce advocate for people in the community who don't have access to health care. And I think that she would provide a great voice and a great perspective to the Board of Health.
Okay, thank you for your vote. And Commissioner Dahl, can you hear us?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, great. Would you like to tell us your votes?
My recommendations on the
On the first
The
one is
new board, yeah,
correct. For the first one is other community stakeholders.
that would be Lorna Stewart,
And then how about for public health, healthcare facilities or providers?
Karen Joyner,
And the last, consumers of public health.
Kelly Lane.
Thank you. Okay, so those are the two votes that are not here. I guess we just pass the papers to Kelly. Or like to, yeah, your ballot. Oh, wrong one. Thank you. Yeah. Kelly, we'll give Kelly a few minutes of time to tally the votes. Commissioner Weber or Dahl or,
Mr. Chairman, it seemed to me that the information from our legal advisors said that the vote needs to be taken in public. So we had two members who announced their vote in public. I would think the other four of us need to have the votes announced. And Kelly can read those off if she wants while she's tallying.
Sure. Yeah, my intent was that the ballot would become public document, but yeah, you're right, we can say it, please.
Well, I just want to say this is my last Board of Health meeting. And as a member, I want to thank the Board of Commissioners for the opportunity to serve Cowlitz County. I have learned much about the health needs and services that meet those needs in the last 2 years. I believe with time and maturation, this Board of Health will become an effective tool of the people to help promote positive health outcomes for the residents of Cowlitz County. And I just want to thank you all for allowing me to be a part of it.
I thank you, Lindy, too, for putting through a lot of stuff for the last couple of years. And your knowledge about healthcare in general has helped me quite a bit. And just being on the board, Lindy has decided not to reapply for her position. That's why she's not on the ballot and pursuing other things in life.
I'll just read out my vote. My
Yeah.
votes are in other community stakeholders. I vote for Lorna Stewart. In consumers of public health, I vote for Kelly Lane. And public healthcare facilities or providers, Karen Joyner.
Thank you for that. Commissioner Webb.
Sure. For other community stakeholders, I voted for Diane Cooper. For the provider, I also voted for Karen Joyner. And for the consumer, I voted for Theodore Gromit.
Thank you. Lindy, you have a copy of the ballot?
For stakeholder, I have Lorna Stewart, Public Health. I have Karen Joyner, and Consumer Public Health, Kelly Lane.
Thank you. My vote was for other community stakeholders, Lorna Stewart. Consumers of Public Health was, Consumers of Public Health, that's me. I voted for myself, Kelly Lane, and thank you. And consumer and the Public Health Healthcare Facilities, Karen Joyner also. Sorry for the confusion, but we have different people have dropped out, so the names are a little.
I also wanted to say there were some excellent applicants, and I'm sorry they can't all be on the board.
Yeah, but we welcome their input. Are you ready? Okay, Kelly, give us the totals.
This is Kelly Dombrowski, the clerk of the board. For the other community stakeholders, we have 1 vote for Diane Cooper, 4 votes for Lorna Stewart, and 1 vote for Margaret Lapik. For the public healthcare facilities or providers, we have 6 votes for Karen Joyner. And for consumers of public health, we have 1 vote for Diane Cooper, 4 votes for Kelly Lane, and 1 vote for Theodore Gromit.
Okay. Okay, thank you for those tallies. Okay, so the recommendation of this board looks to be pretty clear. Other stakeholders would be Lorna Stewart gets the win. Consumers of Public Health is me, to repeat again. And public healthcare facilities or providers would be Karen Joyner, who actually got unanimous vote. So congratulations to the candidates. And I thank everybody for your time and patience with this process. It's been a long one. Anybody have any further comments or questions?
Hey, Kelly, this is Mary Jane again. I do want to say that I appreciate for the interest that was generated, and I do appreciate that the newspaper making the public aware of the fact that this needs to be a very public and a very transparent process. And so I'm hopeful that it was. I also want to thank everybody for the opportunity to serve on the board. It has been a very eye-opening educational experience. And I guess my last and most personal hope is that this board would move away from politics and start focusing on public health. Again, I wish you guys all the luck. is that you will be over the next couple of years, and hopefully we can make some positive changes in the public health of our community.
Thank you. Please.
I just want to add to the comments I made earlier about the critics of the board, the makeup of the board. I want to know what you plan to do to fix the problems that have been ongoing for decades with all the billions of dollars that have been spent. How do you plan to fix it? Because it's going to be very difficult to get people with free will to make changes, to make their life better if they don't want to. The other is I want to comment on the daily news and the kind of destructive behavior they've had as far as their reporting. Essentially, people think the Daily News is a local newspaper. It is not. The Daily News is from a syndicate of 77 other papers listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Their whole purpose is division and clickbaiting. They are really not a news organization. Most newspapers no longer are. They don't really report facts. They report what is sensational and what gets them views. And I really, if you want to be a third-rate, third-string reporter to a small newspaper like the Daily News, why don't you just behave appropriately and ethically and actually report what people say? Don't misconstrue them, don't lie, and don't make headlines that are destructive and misinformed. And also examine yourselves. You must have a lack of conscience to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
I just have to check the calendar for a moment. Go ahead.
So maybe you were going to address it, or in the follow-up process, when does the Board of Commissioners make this final and cast their decision?
So the question was, when will the commissioners be appointing?
Yes, following the board's recommendation.
It will be not next week, but the following week. And that's why I was checking the calendar. I think it'll be that Tuesday, the 10th, although I would subordinate myself to the clerk.
That is the next regular public meeting that we have a quorum.
Thank you.
To add to that, the next Board of Health meeting will be the 27th of August. I made a mistake. Excuse me. No, I was correct. 24th of September. Sorry about that. And at that point, the beginning of the meeting, we'll be swearing in the members that have been appointed by the commissioners.
So just a couple of comments. One is I want to congratulate all those who were put on the recommendation list. And for those who aren't on the board any longer, all I can say is your efforts have been and always will be appreciated. Next is the comment about the politics. It seems like if I don't like what you do, I'm going to claim that it's politically driven. And that's very common. And it's a little bit like the accusation of racism. If you don't like something, you're obviously racist. In this case, you're obviously playing a political game. I've been on this table long enough now that I can say with confidence, I'm actually pretty proud of the relationship I've had with the board. We have never played the division of politics. I've never had a discussion that says, well, a Republican would do this. And we've always taken care of the citizen who calls us. They're not in our district. Doesn't matter. We actually are commissioners for everybody, not for a special subset of people. We happen to have views that are, or I happen to have views that say, we've got to improve what we're doing because what we're doing isn't working very well. And we also are still in the mode of throwing money at everything. If the problem were solved by the money, the health problem, we wouldn't have any problem at all. Because we spend more than anybody else in the world on public health, but we're not at the top in public health performance. So anyhow, let's ignore the daily news, because to them, everything is politics. And they're absolutely contentious and ignorant, and they'll publish anything. It's really an ugly paper.
And just, yeah, they twisted my words. I made a mistake to talk to them once, and I won't make that mistake again. I'm here, open, willing to take questions anytime, and that's where this should be done, not in the papers. Please.
Excuse me, a comment ago, 40 years ago, reference to the Daily News. I made a talk at the Longview City Council. Mark Haney was the mayor. I wrote out my comments, read them into the public record, hand carried a copy to the Daily News, and they still got it wrong. So nothing has changed.
Well, I had an employer at one point that kept making mistakes, and the motto between us employees was, well, it's better to be consistent than right. Which is facetious, of course. Any further comments?
I wear my arrest voucher shirt.
Thank you. One last note, there is a Board of Health training that's put on by WASALFO, one of those acronyms, that the Board of Health in the past, we attended. There is one coming up in October. I don't know if there's going to be enough time to register, but I just wanted to throw that out there for the new board members. Might consider that after the appointment is made. So to contact me, and I can provide any kind of information on that training, which is, it's worth at least seeing once. And if there's no hands up, nothing. Well, with that said, then we'll adjourn this meeting at 10:31. Thank you very much for your patience and time coming.